This video is sponsored by Trading 212, a platform that allows you to invest in real stocks and ETFs for free. If you use this code when you sign up, you can get one share worth up to €100 for free. Today, I want to talk to you about investing in watches and talk about my personal mindset and motivations. Welcome to Buck and Jack, I'm Adrian. This channel is just about me exploring watches, drinking coffee, chatting with you guys, and if you want to support the channel, just hit that subscribe button down there. This video has been in the pipeline for a very long time, pretty much since I did a video titled How to Get a Rolex for Free. There were quite a few messages in that video and some of them were misunderstood or kind of taken out of context, so I kind of want to address a few of those. But also since then, there's been quite a few videos of people on YouTube and off YouTube talking about how watches can be an investment or watches can't be an investment or watches shouldn't be an investment. So I thought I'd just throw in my thoughts into the mix. It also makes sense seeing as the sponsor of the channel at the moment is a trading platform. This is around investing in watches, so it kind of has a loose connection. So I thought the final sponsored episode should be kind of directly related to each other. Right off the bat, I'm no financial expert. If you want financial advice, go seek that from an actual financial advisor. All I'm going to do in this video is talk passively around my experiences. Now, I got a bit triggered at a watch talk that I was at, where the panel were talking around the idea of watches and investments and how people shouldn't look at value retention. They shouldn't look at watches as an investment. They shouldn't and aren't investments, and watches can't be classed as assets. But in the same breath, they mentioned that if they saw at retail price a Tiffany stamped 5711, that they'd snap it up immediately and shove it in a safe, because in a few years' time, that'd be worth a mint. At what stage is that phrase not talking about an investment? And at what stage is that not talking about something that is an asset? So I feel that there's quite a bit of, it feels like it's the thing to say that watches aren't assets or watches can't be investments. But at the same time, everyone knows that a Batman's going to go up in value. Everyone knows that a Daytona sells for more than retail. Everyone knows that if you were to buy a 5711 now, that in 10 years time, it'll be worth more than what it is right now. If you know that that item is going to be worth more in 10 years time than it is now, then how is that not an investment? And how is that item not an asset? It might not provide financial gain straight off the bat, but it's still an asset. If you owned a plot of land and no one was doing anything with it, there was no building work, there was no one renting it, it was just sitting there dormant, that's still an asset. The same thing with a watch. If a watch sitting there or on your wrist, it still holds its value, then it's an asset. It's not a liability. And there might be costs in the upkeep of that watch, servicing or insurance, but the same with the land. That land might still have, you might still have to pay council tax. You might have to maintain the fence on the surround. But as long as the overall value outweighs the ongoing costs, it's still an asset. Well, we're talking about investing. Let's have a quick look at the sponsor of this video. So Trading 212 is a way that you can actually own a share in one of your favorite companies. Now, Trading 212 democratizes the financial markets by letting anyone invest in thousands of real stocks and ETFs for free. You just need to get the app, open an account, and start investing without paying any fees or commissions. If you use our code, then you can get one stock worth up to €100 for free. I'm going to talk about my motivations behind buying certain watches and the kind of whole idea around the investment part of it, because I think people take the investment, they hang on to the word investment too strongly. It's not a matter of I'm buying a watch solely for its investment purposes. For me, it's a matter of I love watches. I'm not a rich guy, but I'm in a rich guy's game. What can I do to leverage things so that I can get a nicer watch? This Kermit, for example, quite clearly now we can see that this was a good investment, but back then it was a matter of I love this watch. I knew it was going to go up in value. I paid $5,900 for it 3 years ago, 2 years ago, a few years ago, I paid $5,900 for it. I could probably sell it now for over £12,000. I have box and papers, everything with it. That is a fair chunk more. I didn't know it was going to increase it that much, but I knew this was a safe bet. I knew worst case scenario, my money was safe with it. There's so many things going for this watch. So it wasn't just a matter of I wanted this watch because it was going to go up in value. I just wanted this watch. The fact it was going to go up in value was just a way of me justifying the purchase. For me, that's a more sensible choice rather than going and buying something else that I know is going to lose value. The Kermit was originally bought to be my daily wear, But the moment it went over being worth £10,000, that's when I felt a bit uncomfortable wearing something like that. It transitioned from, a lot of people will say, oh, it's a watch, you should wear it. It was a tool watch. It was built to be worn. You should wear it and enjoy it. That's what it's there for. Maybe for you, but for me, that's not the case. £10,000 for me and the family would make quite a big impact. So I'd prefer to have £10,000 safe in a safe deposit box rather than wearing a watch. The Kermit might decrease in value. By the end of the year, it could go down to £9,000. Next year, it could go down to £5,000. The year after, it might go down to £4,000. But it's a safe bet that in 10, 15 years' time, this could be worth something like £20,000. That is not unrealistic. Maybe the phrase investing in watches isn't the right phrase. Maybe it should be talking about the idea of an insurance, that my money is safe in this watch, and I'm using that idea as an insurance of the expenditure. If I was to buy a similar level Omega, there is no insurance in getting my money back again. That money, not all of it's gone, but a large majority of it's gone. I might lose 30, 40% on an Omega. With this, then I'm up over 100%. I didn't know this at the time, but there are similarities between putting money into companies and putting money into watches. Very, very few watches will hold their value. Even fewer watches will go up in value. And the same thing with companies. Just because you own a share in the company doesn't mean you're going to make a profit. It's far, far more difficult than that. And it's silly when people say you should buy shares, not watches. No, you can lose money on watches, you can lose money in shares. Everything's a risk. You can invest in property and the property market crashes. You can invest in shares and the stock market crashes. You can invest in certain currency and then there's suddenly a conflict and then that goes tits up. You can invest in trends and suddenly the fashion changes. Or you can invest in a new tech company and it goes bust. Everything has its own risks. But to say you can't invest in watches it's not true. I think a lot of people say that because they just get upset around the emotional side of watches. They say you can't invest in watches because it's a hobby and you're then not a true enthusiast if you do that. You should buy what you want and ignore the value retention. Great, I would love to be able to do that. I'm just not in the financial position to do that. Value retention is a factor that I need to take into consideration. All of these points are just other people's opinions and they're usually powered by emotion. People who say things, I love what this watch represents. So this is a piece of jewelry, it's a piece of art. This watch means so much to me because I bought it with my first bonus or when I got a promotion. They're all lovely things. When you look at investments, you do have to remove the emotional side to it, which I haven't done with this watch. I'm talking about the kind of investment mindset. But when coming back to watches, if I had to sell my Kermit, I would be sad to sell it. It does mean something to me. It represents a time in my life when I was able to buy something like this. It's also, I see it as an important watch. It's representing 50 years of probably the most important watch that has been released. Again, an opinion that is motivated by my emotional connection to the Submariner, a tool watch. If I were to sell it, I would be sad. But the motivation to get the money to support the family would be greater than the motivation to keep it. Don't email me asking if I think XYZ is going to increase in value. I don't know. Nobody knows. We have hunches, but at the end of the day, you can't invest. It's like asking someone, should I invest in company X? If you have to ask a question, just walk away. It shows you don't know enough about what you're trying to do. If you ask someone, should I invest in company X? And they say yes, and you do it, you're not investing in company X, you're investing in the person you asked. And it's a similar thing with watches. Do I think watches are the best investment? No. It's something that allows me to buy something better than what I should kind of technically have. There are better vehicles out there to make money, but that's something that if you want to do that, you have to go and figure out for yourself. Anyway, guys, I'd love to know your thoughts on this stuff. I know it is such a contentious topic, but I wanted to share my thoughts on it. Jump over to barkandjack.shop if you want to check out our watch straps. Got leather and NATO straps over there. And if you're on Instagram, jump over to @barkandjack and give us a follow. I'll see you guys next time. Take care.